February 27, 1968 AD, the death of Frankie Lymon. On this date, February 27, 1968 AD, former teen idol and pop star Frankie Lymon died from a heroin overdose in the bathroom of his grandmother's apartment. He was just 25 years old. He was back in New York City to celebrate his new recording contract with his family and friends. Later on, he scored some heroin, but unfortunately, he took more than his body could handle. At the time of his death, he was managed by Sam Bray, who signed Lymon to his label Big Apple. Bray released a single that he recorded a year after his death. The tracks were Sea Breeze and I'm Sorry, which showcased Lymon's new vocalization, which featured a more mature and soulful sound compared to his old falsetto vocals. Lymon was married 3 times, including a brief marriage to fellow pop singer Zola Taylor, who was a member of the Platters. His first marriage, with Elizabeth Waters, was technically not legal due to her still being married to her husband, and his third wife, Emira Eagle, who was an elementary school teacher, was his widow at the time of his death. As an adolescent, Frankie was the lead singer of the rock and roll doo-wop group The Teenagers in 1955. They recorded 1 studio album a year later for G Records, which spawned 3 top 40 singles in the US and 2 in the UK, including the group's signature song, Why Do Fools Fall in Love? A dispute over the writing credits of the hit song, Why Do Fools Fall in Love, between fellow members Herman Santiago, Jimmy Merchant, and the record's producer, George Goldner, and the billing of Frankie Lymon as the star of the group, led to him becoming a solo artist when the group broke up during the middle of a European tour in 1957. The now 15-year-old Lymon became a solo artist and released a dozen singles for his label, Roulette Records, but the teenage Lymon was developing a severe heroin addiction which would seriously conflict with his hectic touring schedule and performances. In 1957, Lymon caused a huge controversy when he appeared on Alan Freed's live ABC television show, The Big Beat, when he danced with a white teenage girl during one of his performances. The sight of an interracial couple dancing on television caused a huge uproar, especially in the South, which led to the show being eventually canceled. The owner of Lymon's label, Roulette Records, Morris Levy, milked as much as he could out of the teenage star. He even managed to get him co-credited for the writing the hit single Why Do Fools Fall in Love and reaped its financial benefits. When he couldn't squeeze another song out of Lymon, Levy cut off ties with the troubled singer in 1961. Frankie signed a brief record deals with Columbia Records and 20th Century Fox in 1964, but a change in his voice and his struggles with drug addiction ended any chance for a longer or bigger record deal. Later that year, he reunited with the Teenagers, but nobody wanted to sign them. In 1966, he was arrested for drug possession, which led to him being drafted in the United States Army. In 1967, he went AWOL just so he could perform in nearby clubs in Atlanta, due to being stationed in nearby Fort Benning, Georgia. Frankie, who had been off of heroin since joining the Army, was signed to Big Apple by Sam Bray in February of 1968 and was in town to celebrate his good fortune with family and friends. But it all ended in tragic fashion when the 25-year-old Lymon overdosed on some heroin he managed to score. Frankie Lymon's falsetto vocals and onstage charisma influenced many singers such as Michael Jackson, the Beach Boys, Donny Osmond, Smokey Robinson, and many more. Frankie Lymon and the Teenagers were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1993 by Boyz II Men, a group that felt Frankie Lymon paved the way for musical acts like themselves and contributed greatly to rock and roll music, and Lymon's contributions should never ever be forgotten.